Oh wow. Camera quality is so different from my phone to my laptop. Happy freaking Tuesday, everybody. Lower this so y'all are kind of in the same view. My name is Kimberly Mooney. I'm a realtor here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, brokered proudly by eXp Realty. This is my husband, Chris. We go live almost every weeknight, usually on TikTok, but we finally have the capability to go live here on YouTube also. So
we look weird, but to us, we're looking at two screens. So
yeah, so there's two screens. Actually, might be. That might be. I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know if that helps.
Whoa,
but
it's like perfect stream style.
So tonight we're going to talk about getting a real estate license here in New Mexico. And normally I leave my lives open to kind of whatever you guys want to chat about, but it usually gets sidetracked and we don't actually talk about real estate. So from here on out, we're going to try and talk at least primarily about real estate. So today, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about getting your real estate license here in New Mexico. Chris is actively in the process of getting his real estate license. And getting your license varies from state to state. Here in Albuquerque or here in New Mexico, we are associate brokers or ABs. We are not agents. So it is a slightly different licensure process, but not totally different. Also, every state has different hour requirements for the education, for the classes, for the prerequisites. So how are you guys doing? We're doing really good. Thank you.
We're doing awesome. Does the YouTube one, does that have comments or the what?
Yeah, people can comment. Well, I guess I should probably move it so it's not.
Yeah, I guess you can move it right there. Yeah, I'll just right your face. It's going to be the same as I think. That's cool.
Yeah, so Chris is, I was just making sure you're in both. Okay, sorry. First time doing both live streams at one time might not be a great idea, but here we go. Anyway, so the process is pretty similar no matter which state you're in, although you will have different requirements, different fees and costs that are associated with getting your license. Hi from North Carolina. Some German lady's trial. I honestly don't know anything about it. But so here in New Mexico, the licensure process is pretty straightforward. You choose a platform to take your classes through. There are a couple that are well known here in New Mexico, including Kaplan. Sometimes our community college has courses. Other times there's different online routes, and there's a couple other qualifying brokers here in the state that teach pre-licensure classing. Chris is doing it. Hi. Hi, how are you?
CE Shop.
Yes, Chris is through the CE Shop and the Mesa Real Estate something. They're like sister companies. So Chris is doing his licensure fully online. It's kind of how I did mine. I did mine through my community college here in New Mexico, CNM. They don't always offer the courses, but it worked really well for me. And fix your roots, babe. First of all, my hair's a hot mess, but it's all good. Do y'all have Champion Real Estate as well? So I'm not sure. I don't know anybody that's gone through them personally, but it's possible. Like I said, I went through CNM. Chris is going through the CE Shop. A lot of people go through Kaplan here in New Mexico. Either way, wherever you wind up going, first you want to ensure that they are that state, whichever state you're trying to get licensed in, that they have what you need to become licensed in that state, because not every company does licensure for every state. Some of the companies will offer licensure in multiple states, and that does not mean that you automatically are licensed in all of those states. So just to clarify, because that is actually something somebody has asked me once. The other thing, once you pick your pre-licensure platform, you will begin those classes, whether it's online, in person, whatever you want to do. I would highly recommend looking for a platform that offers test prep so that you have access to other resources preparing for the national and the state licensing exams. Partners with Kaplan and provides 6 core classes for free. It's called K-Score. Yes, I've actually heard that KW does that. What if somebody gets their license taken away the first day? Will they be able to get it? How would they get it taken away the first day?
Yeah. Is that like a personal thing or something?
I do have a question about the KW thing though. If you go through KW to get your licensure class, like if they pay for it, are you then required to join KW? Or are you still able to choose your own brokerage? Because they do that here in New Mexico. I know that. I actually met with a broker today who was talking about that program. The KW pays for pre-licenses classes. You do not have to stay with KW. Well, that's pretty cool. That's a sweet, pretty sweet deal. So the next thing, once you pick your platform, once you get some access to some test prep, you will take those courses. And here in New Mexico, we have a 90-hour requirement. It is broken into 30-hour segments. There's 3 different topics that you will cover for 30 hours each prior to taking your exam. That does not mean that it will only take you 30 hours to do those courses or that it will take you 30 hours. I took mine a little under 30 hours each because of the layout, and you have all the weirdos in here, don't you? I seriously do. We always get so many trolls on TikTok. It's so much fun.
I have a full-time job blocking people.
Yeah, Chris's job is dad jokes and blocking the trolls here on social media for me. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So you will have those hourly requirements in New Mexico. Like I said, it is 90 hours. I know in Colorado, it's significantly more than that. I have a friend taking her classes right now, and she was like, how many hours did you have to take? I told her 90, and she was kind of disappointed because she has to take like, what, 160?
120.
Or 120. Yep. 120. That's way less. 160. Yes, thank you for flagging them. Yeah. Appreciate that.
I struggle. Like I've been taking this first 30-hour class for a long time. I need to like buckle down, but it's go as you go.
Go at your own pace.
Go at your own pace. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's part of the reason Chris chose the program that he did. Is it's go at your own pace. We have 2 kids. We parent full time. I work full time, and Chris is doing some side things too because.
Got it.
So, oh my gosh, because I don't know why I said because he's doing some other jobs. He's a health coach, and he's working a little bit for my dad's company. So he's not full time taking the classes. Otherwise, I think he would be moving through it quicker. But that's neither here nor there. If you could just
3 days, like you power through these courses, but it's just like
depends on what time you have.
Yeah.
So once you finish all those courses, you take that test prep if you have access to it. If you don't, there's plenty of platforms online. There's YouTube channels dedicated to it. There's TikTokers dedicated to it. There's something somewhere that will help prepare for the exam if you feel like that will benefit you. I personally took some different online resources, kind of combined them, and then made Chris drill through note cards. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, you did note cards.
Note cards.
And
flashcards. ADHD my way right.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, Chris gets sidetracked so easily, especially because when I'm like working, the girls will go to Chris because they think whatever he's doing is not as important, and he winds up doing.
Because I mean, I don't know what the doctor. I don't know what HD is, but the doctor told me I got 80 of them.
Dad jokes for days. Okay, so then you prepare for the test. You study your butt off. And my biggest advice for anybody preparing to take the test or thinking of taking the test in the future, read the question, read every answer, reread the question. More often than not, after reading the answers and the question twice, you will kind of have a good idea of what is the right answer. Not always, but it helps every once in a while.
Yeah, a lot of the quizzes I've taken, it's like you can do elimination. Like I put down an answer, I started reading it, and I was like, wait a minute. Okay, it doesn't want that, and you're able to narrow it down. So take your time and test prep.
Yeah, so definitely read the full question. You just read my sweater. MILF and Co. A friend of mine from high school has a little Etsy shop, I think, and she just does some MILF and Co. t-shirts and sweaters. I don't know what made her start it, but a bunch of us from high school have them, so it's pretty funny. And I got one from my mom, but I've never given it to her, so I just wear. I have two. Well, I have three, I think. But yeah, it's dope. Pretty dope.
Dope.
Then you will set the appointment to take your test. I don't know if it is slightly different in other states, but in New Mexico, when I took my exam, there was a delay in scheduling because of COVID. Now there's not as much of a delay, but every once in a while they get busy. So if you know you want to take your exam as soon as you finish your classes, then you need to plan to schedule it immediately once you finish your class. Strict about what you can and bring with you, so read the rules, follow the rules, don't try and outsmart the system. No cheating on the exam. There's really not. Once you take that exam, it will tell you how you did. If you fail, it usually tells you in what part, like what portion of the exam you struggled or which portion you did the best. So you kind of know where to focus your studying for future exam taking dates.
And it's okay to fail.
Yeah, I took my exam 3 times before I passed, and everybody says differently whether state or national is harder. For me, I think it was the state portion that was harder, ironically, and for some people it's the national. It really just depends the way that the questions are worded, and a lot of the questions are outdated and old. They're not updated, at least in my opinion or my awareness. But what you learn in real estate classes is not necessarily going to help you have a successful real estate career, and taking the exam is not a determining factor of how well you will do in real estate. So if you fail or you don't do as well as you wanted to, that's all right. A pass is a pass. To me, it doesn't really matter if I pass by one question or I get a flying colors, don't miss a single question. I don't really care. I passed. I got my license. That's what matters. Because then comes the fun part. Once you pass the exam, however many times it takes, once you pass the exam, you will get fingerprinted. You will fill out all kinds of paperwork. You will go through background checks and all other kinds of things. And then you will have the option to choose a brokerage. You have to choose a brokerage. You can't not choose a brokerage if you plan to actively sell real estate. But you have the option of which brokerage you choose.
Yeah.
I highly recommend interviewing at least 4 or 5 brokerages before you decide. At minimum, I would recommend speaking with one that is a transaction fee based brokerage and one that is a commission split based brokerage. The brokerage I am with, EXP, is a commission split based brokerage. Realty One, Home Shop, there's some other ones that are transaction based. You need to go and talk to them about what each brokerage offers, how those differ, and what works best for you. In my opinion, my brokerage is the absolute best, but it may not work for you, or you may not like some of the things that they offer. That's all right. You should choose a brokerage you feel confident will support you as you get started in real estate. You also, it's not like a job where you're signing a contract and you're stuck there, or you have a 90-day probation period or whatever. It is very different. You basically have free range. You can leave that brokerage and join another one at practically any point. Yes, it's a process to do so, but it's something you can do, and you don't really have to explain why you're doing it, I think. Never left, so I don't know. But
I'm sure some brokerages are a little bit. But
I mean, I'm sure people will want to know and they may ask you, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's required of you to share that information.
Job stuff.
You know, that's how it goes. But once you've chosen your brokerage, you will then sign on to hang your license in that brokerage. Because EXP is completely virtual, we do have a brick and mortar location. There's office spaces you can go and use if you need them. Some of them are associated with being rented out because of the company that owns the building. And some of them are just, you go in, you let the broker know that you're going, and he gives you free range of that space. You can have client meetings here. You can have team meetings here. You can do whatever you need to do in that space. So if you are not a good virtual worker, it's okay. You will have somewhere that you can sit, but I prefer a coffee shop or like a place that is not work related because I just kind of feel annoyed being in offices trying to do work. That's me, not everybody.
I do a little bit better in offices, but again, ADD. So
What can you do? But once you've chosen your brokerage, they've agreed to hang your license, you now have the option of choosing a mentor. With my brokerage, it's a requirement if you have not sold a certain number of transactions in the past 12 months to go through the mentorship program. It's automatic. You can choose a mentor or you can be partnered with a mentor if you're not aware of one. They do their best to match you up with someone within an hour or two from where you live so that you have someone you can actually go experience real estate with. Go to listing appointments, go to showings, go to closings, whatever it is that you want to do, you have that availability with your mentor. They do the best they can. It doesn't always work out. You also may not like the mentor they assign you. You can change mentors. It's just there's a little bit of a delay and a little bit of a process. What are you looking for? Oh. Once you have your mentorship lined up, or you've chosen a team, or you have a coach of some variety, every brokerage is different on the support that they offer when you get started. So that's one of the big questions you should ask. How will you help me actually learn real estate? Like I said, the licensing classes are all good and well, but they don't actually teach you the process of buying and selling real estate. They don't really go over the contracts very extensively, and what they do cover on the contracts is not always helpful because it depends on your learning style and the teacher's teaching style, how much you absorb it. Here in New Mexico, our state qualifying broker has every week a contract class where it goes through every single form that you could ever possibly encounter on a contract. Every week, he takes 1 hour, goes through as much of the form as he can, line by line. He explains every part. You have questions, he answers them. Otherwise, he just keeps moving. We also have every other week a sky slope training available in World, taught by someone local who is our compliance officer. And she is amazing. But these are all tools that help you understand the processes and the systems related to real estate. Every brokerage is different. Not everyone has these processes or these trainings. So if it's important to you, find a brokerage that does. If you ever have questions about EXP or choosing a brokerage, I would love to chat with you. So feel free to subscribe to my channel, shoot me a DM here on TikTok, shoot me a text or give me a call. You click the link in my bio, all of those things, get in contact with me and we will talk more about EXP or just choosing a brokerage in general. I can share with you the questions I highly recommend that you ask and the things that I absolutely love about my brokerage and how it helps new agents and brokers. Like I said, here in New Mexico, you will be an associate broker, not an agent. They're two different things, slightly different, but they still are different. So you have to know the difference. You do learn that in the courses. We have to be very careful because a lot of the legal parts of our contract do imply being a broker, and you never can say that you're an agent without an agency form. It's extensive paperwork, and we have a legal team that goes over it with us all the time, and they get real frustrated if you mess that up, so be very careful. But
that dude just looks like he's ready to go to bed.
No, I'm just chilling.
yeah, he's probably
We're up
getting
for a
to
while
bed.
after this, man.
Yeah, he kind of just zones out and listens when I ramble.
A lot of the information she gives, I'm like, wow, this is like the steps I'm gonna be taking. So
Yeah, like
I
I
might
said,
as well learn too.
Chris
I'm in the
is
process.
actively in the process of getting his real estate license, so he can tell you firsthand some of the earlier steps. And so he knows better than I may even remember because it's been a while.
Yeah.
Now you've chosen a brokerage. Ideally, you have a mentor, a coach, a sponsor, somebody that's willing to help you learn real estate. If you don't, good freaking luck. because it's nuts out there.
Yeah.
And agents and brokers who have been doing it for a long time can smell you like sharks can smell blood in the water. They know that you don't know what you're doing and they will take full advantage. So even if you don't have a coach, a mentor, a sponsor, somebody guiding you through it, I would never say to fake it till you make it, because
Yeah.
that's a mess and that's a big legal liability waiting to happen. But connect with someone within your brokerage, your qualifying or managing broker, someone within your office if you choose a brick and mortar location, somebody that you can ask questions when you need to and figure out how that works with them. Because you have to be very aware that you might be taken advantage of by older agents. That's all good. You don't have to. I'm focused on how
I think he
tired.
just likes me, man. I don't know.
I mean, he's cute, so if you want to look at him, you can.
That's fine.
It's all
I'm in the
good.
background.
If you're here for him, you can follow him. He has his own TikTok. He just sits in and joins me for all my lives
I
because
hang out.
he,
Comedic relief.
yeah, he's my comedic relief, and people like to look at him.
Yep.
Like you. So, no judgment here, my friend. Other than that, that's pretty much the process of getting your real estate license, at least in the state of New Mexico. I know every state is slightly different, and your requirements. Ship me your hat and don't wash it. Ew, why? Other states may have different requirements, but realistically, New Mexico, as far as states go, is fairly easy to get licensed in. We have a lot of support within my brokerage here in New Mexico. I don't know how every other brokerage is, but I can tell you when I interviewed brokerages, I was pretty extensive in the questions that I asked, and I chose the brokerage that seemed the most suitable and the most likely to be long-term success as a brokerage and not just for me, because that is important. So if you have questions, you can either drop them in the comments right now, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me here on TikTok and Instagram, shoot me a DM, or click the link in my bio to learn more. Because I absolutely love to talk about real estate, and I could sit here and talk to you all freaking night about it. But like this guy earlier said, it may not be interesting to you. I don't always talk about real estate. Some of my other content is just funny.
Yeah.
But
Funny people.
this is Chris. I'm Kimberly. We're about to be, and I am, a realtor here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, proudly brokered by eXp Realty, and I'm your ABQ Realtor bestie. So if you don't know, now you know.
Live, love, laugh. Live, love, laugh,
Happy
love.
freaking Tuesday, y'all. We will see you tomorrow night. Unless
I'll
something
be there.
outstanding comes up and
Yeah.
causes us not to. Yeah. Bye, besties.
Oh, now I gotta end 2 of them. See, we're still live on YouTube.
Bye, besties.